Welcome back to the Story of Liberty. This is your host, John Bona. Well, this healthcare issue that has dominated the media for months has now come to fruition. You know, we all know when we go to the doctor's office, that's most of the time the fees are high. Many patients can't afford these costs. And the insurance companies charge a lot too. Yes, we do have a problem. But now Congress has voted the federal government to fix the problem. And there's no doubt in over 60% of the people in America that this will only exacerbate the problem. They will take money promised to retiring workers and squander it. See, folks, government intervention, socialism, is not the solution. It's a loss of liberty, and that's the problem. The free market our founders provided was the only way to viable solutions. Adam Smith, in his book called The Wealth of Nations, said it very clearly. Our founders knew that that system would work efficiently, and they put that system into our constitutional structure, and that perpetuated four fundamental economic liberties: the liberty to try, the liberty to buy, the liberty to sell, and yes, even the liberty to fail. See, this simply emphasized that the greatest enemy of the free market economy is illegitimate government intervention. And folks, that's what we have here with the healthcare law. It's illegitimate government intervention. Well, now the Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice John Roberts, has really surprised the nation by ruling the president's healthcare law and its mandates constitutional. The obvious implication is drastic. Our country is now facing a liberty-crushing, conscience-violating, abortion-funding reality. Worse, the court has changed the relationship between us and their elected officials. Now Uncle Sam can make you buy anything, at any price, for any reason, because they've made this mandate a tax. And now Congress has given authority to the IRS to control almost every aspect of our lives. Now, the practical problem of this is Congress can reach anything it wants if it's willing to attach a tax penalty for you for not doing it. This all gets roped in under the taxing clause of the Constitution. It elevates this taxing clause they used over the Commerce Clause, and it is the single greatest grant of power to the national government in the United States Constitution. There is no mention of health care in the Constitution. Did you know that? Health care and health is an individual's responsibility. As it turns out, according to the Supreme Court, there is no question that the heart of ObamaCare is a tax, after all. And despite the president's continued claims that under his administration, taxes will not increase 1 cent on the middle-class families, ObamaCare is not only a tax, it is perhaps the most obscene and regressive tax in our history. You know, there's also the relationship between the doctor and the patient I wanted to talk about. That liberty is taken away. That liberty to both the doctor and patient forces insurance companies to be less oppressive. When this liberty is taken away, and the government goes around the Constitution in Article 1, Section 10, Clause 2, then no state shall make a law impairing the obligation of contracts. See, the government is to protect private contracts, not interfere. James Madison said, if government can do whatever it wants, the government is no longer a limited one, possessing enumerated powers, but an indefinite one. See, a great majority of the American people oppose Obamacare for a reason. It's a gross abuse of federal power that'll actually increase healthcare costs. It'll drive up already unsustainable national debt that we have and force government-approved and government-dictated health insurance on virtually all Americans. Well, this decision, 5-4 majority of the court, upheld health care as a tax under the Tax and Spending Clause. This is very strange because Congress stated in the law that its authority was derived from another clause, the Commerce Clause, not the Taxing and Spending Clause. The statute itself says that Congress relied on the Commerce Clause for its authority to pass this law, not the Taxing and Spending Clause. As I said, President Obama said publicly the individual mandate penalty was not a tax. Congress would never promote this as a tax. So unpopular, right? With the probability of taxing the middle class. Well, the Supreme Court decided that the mandate was authorized under the Taxing and Spending Clause. It's amazing to think that Chief Justice Roberts sided with the liberal justices on this tax issue. Kagan, Sotomayor, Breyer, and Ginsburg. Even if he had been leaning this way, he could have reset the case for oral argument to focus on that specific issue. No, instead he voted for the health care law. There's problems with this taxing and spending ruling I won't go into. It's very contradictory. It's full of nonsense. But the good news, there is a silver lining. At least the court ruled that Congress lacks the authority under the Commerce Clause to pass the individual mandate. Otherwise, Congress would have unlimited authority to regulate our lives. They could tell you what health club to join or what kind of food to eat. At least Chief Justice Roberts sided here with Kennedy, Scalia, Alito, and Thomas. And let's face it, the president can no longer hide from his tax and spending theories. He can no longer say that he doesn't want a tax on the middle class. He's given it to him. I think people will remember this on November 6th. When they go in the voting booth. I believe we will see a repeal of this law or a defunding of it right after the election with a new Congress and a new president. At the end of the day, folks, this ruling undermines our liberty. It undermines the confidence of the American people in a court and the rule of law itself. Get involved now. We dodged that Commerce Clause bullet. Thank God. That would have been terrible. But the ruling is still major surprise. It could have been worse. But I recommend that the American people examine what has really happened here, how the loss of liberty to each one of us is taking place right now. Well, all socialism is involuntary. It's enforced by the government. It operates with the sword of the state. Socialism has disastrous effects everywhere it exists. Socialism will not work in this world. And unfortunately, America is abandoning capitalism step by step. We're abandoning the free market and we're moving toward socialism. See, the problem is the spirit of limited government and the lying spirit of unlimited government. They cannot exist together in the same nation. Our founding fathers knew the incredible danger of unlimited government. Alexei de Tocqueville said that the purpose of law is justice. Whenever government moves into benevolence, since it has nothing of its own, it must take from some and give to the others. Therefore, it moves into the realm of imposing injustice. Well, if somebody demands your wallet with a gun, that's called robbery. And this is what we have legalized in socialism with the healthcare law. We have legalized plunder. Of course, it's masked with benevolent-sounding phrases like healthcare, but it's unbiblical. It's legalized robbery. Russ Walton put it right. He said government is not a producer. It's a taker and a spender. Every dollar spent by the government is a dollar taken from the private sector, from the workers and the investors. Every dollar taken by the government cannot be spent or invested by that private, productive business.